Okay, episode 17. Alright, if you had to pick between the two squats, the back squat or the front squat, and you were only allowed to use one in training with individuals, which one would you choose and why?
What is the goal of the individuals?
CrossFit.
CrossFit. Then I would probably choose front squat as opposed to back squat. The reason is I think that front squat gives you more predictions for, let's say, squat clean, power clean, push press, almost anything overhead. Thruster, yeah, split jerk, push jerk,
snatch.
Yeah, maybe even snatch, because like bar is on your shoulders compared to your traps or back, and
has a more vertical torso.
yeah, yeah,
requires it's beneficial to people that can achieve a very high vertical torso. So they generally will have good ankle flexibility. So that means it sets them up very well to do a lot of work capacity in general squatting movements. Right?
Yeah. Like most CrossFit movements or in general CrossFit exercise or competitions are more anterior as opposed to posterior, in my opinion. And testing just back squat, it won't give me enough information how they squat clean or how they squat snatch, because like the position of the torso, position of the hips and knees in front squat is much more predictive to other weightlifting movements.
Flexibility requirements.
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely choose.
So you would say the front squat.
Yeah.
Okay. So related to that, just do you think people have to do back squats in CrossFit?
For training?
Yeah. Do you think something would go wrong if you never did any back squats?
I don't know. I don't know actually to say yes or no. I don't have enough experience with it. I see it as a some balance. Like back squat, I see like more posterior chain exercise compared to front squat.
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially for some people, it can.
But even though you still want it to be an anterior chain exercise in CrossFit, you want it to be a vertical torso, quad, limited movement, right?
Like difference between back squat is that back squat gives you
more loading.
Yeah, more loading, which
much
is
more like feels much more difficult on your torso I find to maintain the position because your erectors I feel like it challenges you much more to maintain that extended spine, driving through the load, and it's much easier to tip forward on it, and then obviously push more loading on your back, which you can't really do in the front squat. You just drop it. Yeah. So back to the question: do you think something bad would happen to the athlete? Do you think that they could continue in the sport and train and make it to the games without doing back squats?
Yeah, I think yes.
Of course they could.
Like if they generally or naturally do well with back squats and the front squat is, let's say, the limiting factor, like you don't need to back squat like so often, probably maybe even a couple of months, if really front squat is your weakness.
Or if squatting's your weakness?
Yeah, then I think front squat is way more beneficial for CrossFit. And then you can load your posterior chain with other exercises.
Yeah, because I have one client, which you know him here. He doesn't do back squats. He doesn't feel confident in doing the back squat, given his previous issues with a disc issue in his lumbar spine. I believe it's L4, L5. He doesn't feel confident with it, and he's injured himself before doing it, and it creates a lot of apprehension for him doing it. So for me, in a movement that I don't believe is necessary to be done, we don't do it. But there's no way he can go and continue without doing front squats. You have to do front squatting, and you have to do it intensely, but you don't have to do back squatting intensely. But if you can, and you can do it perfectly and without issue, it's a very good assistance lift. People always forget that. It's an assistance movement. You're never tested on back squats unless something drastically changes. And even then, I still think it's a terrible movement to test people on because the movement standards are so all over the place. And there's just no standard. It's like you can widen your feet and cheat the depth a bit and change the torso angle and whatever, right? Whereas the front squat, that's difficult to do. And then and even in the front squat, you just take it out by just making it a clean and jerk, right? And then you don't worry about what they're doing as long as they pick it up and put it over their head. But yeah, I always like asking people that question or talking with them about the back squat because I believe the back squat, I think it's super beneficial, and I think it's a really, really good movement to obviously improve total body strength, but specifically like squatting strength, and like quad hypertrophy and that kind of stuff because you can add more load, you can do lots of good stuff with the tempos and whatnot. But I really think it's one of the most overrated movements that's done.
Overrated.
I think it's one of the most overrated because it's so highly rated, in my opinion. People rate it so highly when I think it's overdone for this sport. I'm not saying at all that it doesn't make sense to train it because I generally give people more back squatting than I do front squatting. For various reasons, but I just like asking them if they can say, which I think you should be able to, you should say that back squatting is not necessary, but it's very useful. You agree with that?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. As I said, there's more predictions out of the front squat to other movements. Which is great. And if you can't do back squat, let's say due to some injury, why wasting your time trying to fix your issue and trying to put you into back squat position if it's not appropriate? Like, then just don't waste your time and try to improve your strength, your whatever, with other exercises.
Like you said, so front squat, add in accessory work required to strengthen, or just basically to strengthen the erectors and just challenge the posterior chain in a different manner. Yeah.